This is a beginner tutorial on singing and playing the ukulele at the same time. Understandably, one of the most common questions I get as a ukulele teacher is, how do I sing and play the ukulele at the same time, and why does it seem so difficult? The reason it seems difficult is the easy part of the question to answer. When we're playing any instrument, we're effectively multitasking and working through a whole series of small individual tasks that need to all happen at the same time. Firstly, we're probably reading the lyrics of the song from the song sheet. Secondly, the same song sheet is probably telling us where in the lyrics or in the bar that we need to change from one chord to the next. This is normally shown by having the chord names above the music or the words, or maybe in brackets within the lyrics. Then on top of this, there's probably chord diagrams on the page that we're having to reference in order to know where the fingers of our fretting hand need to go in order to play these chords. Then we're probably strumming a rhythm with a series of down and up strokes with our other hand. Then finally, on top of this, we're trying to sing a melody that more than likely has a completely different rhythm to the one that we're strumming. And that's why it's difficult to play and sing at the same time. Basically, we're asking our brain to process a whole lot of information very quickly, send messages to the various parts of the body that we use in order to play our instrument and to sing a song. The good news is that we're actually doing things similar to this all the time with many other day-to-day activities, like driving a car, making dinner, playing sports. So it's really just a case of us having to break things down into smaller component pieces, practice them individually, then slowly put them all back together. Before we get further into this tutorial, please subscribe to the channel, as it really helps me out with making more of these video tutorials moving forward. So for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to use the well-known song You Are My Sunshine. The reason being, it has a simple melody that is the same for both the chorus and the verses. It's essentially just three chords, a C, an F, and a G7, which are quite possibly the first chords you ever learned. It has a simple 16-bar chord progression that's repeated throughout, and like the melody, is the same for the verses and chorus. If you're unfamiliar with it, it might be worth checking out my tutorial for the song first, so that you get a good feel for the form of the song, its chords and the melody. I've linked to the tutorial video in the card above and in the video description below. I've also created a practice play-along video with me playing the whole song with the chord diagrams on the screen to help you with practicing. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure we're happy with all the chord shapes and can change between them all smoothly and comfortably without having to slow down to change from one chord to the next. So we should be able to change between a C and an F, and then back to C. And we should be able to change from a C to a G7, and then back to C. Ideally, we want to memorize each chord shape so we don't need to reference the chord diagrams each time. Next, make sure you're comfortable with the strumming pattern you are going to be using, and you can comfortably play it right through the section of the song you want to be able to sing to. As with my original tutorial for You Are My Sunshine and also the play-along video for it, to get us started with singing and playing at the same time, we are initially going to be using a simple 4 strums per bar pattern. So for each bar, we would play 4 down strums, like so. So with the full 16-bar progression, as per the diagram below, we play C for the first 4 bars, then we play 2 bars of F, and then another 2 bars of C. That gets us to the end of the first 8 bars. Feel free to pause the video here and write this down if it helps. And then for the second half of the progression, we go back to F for 2 bars, then we have 2 bars of C, then we have another bar of C, then 1 bar of G7, and finally 2 bars of C to finish the sequence. Then this chord sequence is just repeated throughout the whole song for the verses and the chorus alike. So I'll just play through the 16-bar sequence, calling the chords as I go. Please feel free to play along with me if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 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 and F, F and back to C, C, F, F, C, 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 G7, and C, C. The next thing to do is to make sure you're familiar with the melody of the song and you can sing it without playing a ukulele. Ideally, learn it off by heart so you're not having to read the lyrics all the time. Maybe sing along with my play along video if it helps. At this point, I should probably say, don't worry if you don't feel that you're a good singer. For many people, this will be as new as playing the ukulele to them. Like any musical instrument, singing also requires practice if we want to be good at it. I really don't think of myself as a singer, but more of a ukulele player that sings. And I'm really not that keen on hearing myself back on recordings or in these videos. Apparently that's quite common for others too, even good singers. But all that said, I really enjoy accompanying myself whilst singing with the ukulele, and it's definitely one of the easier instruments to do this with. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so now let's slowly start adding some strums to the melody. An important thing to note here is that in the case of this song we have what is called a pickup before the first bar or the first strum. The first 3 words or syllables of the lyrics always start before the first bar of every verse or chorus, and are sung on beats 2, 3 and 4 of what is referred to as a pickup bar or an anacrusis. So if I was counting the song in, I would probably count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You are my, before we land on the first strum, on the first beat of bar 1, on the syllable sun of the word sunshine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You are my sunshine. You can see this clearly in the music below. By the way, you don't need to be able to read the music here in order to do this tutorial. It's more of a reference to help with our timing. So what we're going to do here initially is to play a single strum on the first beat of every other bar. Our first strum will be a C chord on the first beat of bar 1 on the syllable sun, and then our next strum will be another C on the first beat of bar 3 on the syllable sun again. Then our next chord will be an F chord on the first beat of bar 5 on the first syllable of the word happy. Then our next, a strum on the C on the word grey in bar 7. Then we'll play an F on the word no in bar 9, and then a C on the word love in bar 11. Then we get a slightly quicker change with another strum of C in bar 13 on the word take, and a strum of G7 in bar 14 on the syllable sun, and then finally another C on the word away in bar 15. Bar 16 would then act as the pickup bar to the next verse or chorus. So put all that together and we would have something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The next thing we're going to try and do is put a single strum on the first beat of every bar. So here we're going to have our first strum of C in the same place as before on the first beat of bar 1, and then we're going to have another strum on the first beat of bar 2 where there is a quarter note rest, that little squiggle on beat 1. So your first strum is on the syllable sun in bar 1, and your second strum is in the gap in the lyrics between the syllable shine and the words my only. The same thing is then going to happen in bars 3 and 4, with a strum on the syllable sun in bar 3, and then on the rest in bar 4. So that first line would now sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me. We would then do the same thing for the other 12 bars, so the whole 16 bars would sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please feel free to pause the video here if you need to and go back over this again until you've got it right. You may have spotted that there's a different kind of rest in bar 12, and this is what's known as a half note rest, and it takes up 2 beats of the bar, but you would still put a single strum here at the moment. So the next level would be to play 2 strums per bar with a strum on beat 1 and beat 3 of every bar. So in the first line, we're now strumming both on the syllable sun and shine in bar 1, and then on the rest and the first syllable of the word only in bar 2, and so on. So if I was to play 2 strums per bar throughout the chorus, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Again, feel free to pause the video here and go back over this again until you have it down. So the final stage of the jigsaw is to now try and play a down strum on every beat of every bar. So we're basically adding an extra down strum in between every strum in the last exercise. So we now have 4 strums in every bar. When we're playing 4 down strums per bar, I personally like to accent beats 2 and 4 of the bar by playing those strums a little louder than beats 1 and 2. So another way you can emphasize this feel is to just play a quieter strum that only really hits the strings nearest your face on beats 1 and 3, and then play a full strum on beats 2 and 4. So or alternatively, if for now you're more comfortable playing with all your strums at the same volume, that's absolutely fine too. So put all this together and we should have something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. So when you're feeling more comfortable with these 4 down strums per bar, maybe start to add some up strums in between your downs. I generally find that they start to creep in the more confident I get with the song and relax into it. And also feel free to experiment with any other strumming patterns and rhythms whilst singing the song. Other things that I find sometimes might help with this are initially to not worry about singing the lyrics and maybe just hum or whistle the melody while you strum. This way you're not having to worry about the words or the syllables while trying to maintain a strumming pattern. Or another option would be just to strum a rhythm with your ukulele strings muted, with the fingers of your fretting hand just resting against the strings but not pressing down like this. This way you can concentrate on the melody of your song and your strumming rhythm without worrying about chord changes. The good news is that generally the next song you try and sing and play with will start to feel a bit easier. It definitely gets easier the more you practice and the more songs you try. So look out for chord sheets of any songs you like. Ideally pick the easier songs to start with and experiment with breaking them down into the component parts. Try singing the melody whilst just strumming a single chord at the beginning of each bar and go from there. Also try and practice with other people who can play and sing together well. Whether it's someone on a YouTube video or at a ukulele club or jam, you will definitely improve much quicker by playing with others. So that brings me to the end of this tutorial on singing and playing at the same time. I hope you keep at it. It's really pleasing to be able to accompany yourself with an instrument whilst singing. If you found this tutorial helpful or have any questions, please leave a comment, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, as I regularly post video tutorials for ukulele at all different levels. If you'd like a PDF of the song sheet for You Are My Sunshine with the lyrics and the chord diagrams, buy me a coffee. See how to do so in the link in the description below the video and I'll email one over to you. Alternatively, you could join me over at my Patreon page where all my tutorials, accompanying PDFs can be found in one place. The link for this can also be found in the description below. Thank you for watching and bye for now.